We are
Yo.
live. We are live, Mr. Ajay Kapoor, episode 6 for Hire Fire.
Yeah, episode 1 for me. I've never done a podcast before. I've been offered a few times, a few too many times, and I've declined a lot of them. Reason being, I was like, I'm not going to put myself out there. But this year's like a big personal branding year for me. I built many audiences, just not my own personal ones.
I love it.
I'm like, you know what? I might as well kick it off to the homie that feels like a day one, who is a day one now. He caught me early before we blew up too fast, before I blow up big. Just coming,
I love it.
Not out of ego, it's just belief in myself. But
oh no, you guys don't even know.
And I'm like, why don't I start it off the right way with my dog Amir and start it off with you?
Let's go. I love it. Well,
shout out
we're gonna kick this in. We're gonna kick this off. So Ajay is right now residing in North California, San Francisco, right in the Bay Area. And he's 21 years old, and it's pretty wild because he's accomplished so much in his life at such a short age, and he's just getting started. He really feels like, every time I talk to him, he feels like he hasn't done anything. And I'm like, dude, you've done so much. So, dude, take us back a couple of years ago, because you have a crazy story in the last few years. I mean, you have been grinding for a hot minute, even though you're only 21. So like,
it's true. It's funny. Like I'm gonna bring some context behind this up. People are like, oh, you're so young. Like it's just getting started for you. Like, and it is getting started, right? But I'm like, wait a motherfucker. Like this didn't come in 2 years for me. I've been doing this since I'm 15 years old, right? Like realistically, I've been doing like running smaller businesses, like even selling candy, shoes since I've been like 13, 12 even, right? So it's like I've been trying this entrepreneurial stuff. And like take a story roll back real quick. Is like I tried to come up with an edible straw when I was like 13 years old and got really deep into researching of how the fuck I'm going to sell edible straw. Did some competitive analysis, went to the store, bought some Starbursts with my older brother, Kosh. We legit tried to make it a product. And that being said, I still believe an edible straw will be a great business. Like imagine if you go to Jamba Juice and you need a fucking mango straw and it saves the fucking environment. So it's an idea I'll get back to later in the future. It'll be more maybe a passion project, maybe something that kicks me back. I wish I had the notebook I had like from like 7, 8 years ago. I was writing in there, testing that shit out. It was unbelievable. But yeah, this has been going on for a long time, man. And kind of annoys me. People are like, oh, yeah, I've been doing this. Like, you're still young. You have so much more to go. Like, I know I'm young, but also respect the fact that I've been doing this for over half a decade now. It's been almost 6 years, right? So it's like I've learned a lot of the game, right? And I just got lucky. I started early. That's all. Right. It's like I have the same experience as you, bro, but I just started early and I've been in multiple industries, which is like one thing I'm very grateful for is like I've done a bunch of different businesses and a bunch of random fucking shit that's compounded into me learning the game of business. And that's the game I like to play. It's not I'm in love with this business or that business. I like all business because it's very similar principles. And I've come from businesses that didn't do any marketing to be able to get their clients at all. There's a very unique strategy to clients, which is logistics. But anyways, I'm going to get like, let's just take it back to where we needed to go.
Yeah. So let's start like middle school. You're 15 years old. What brought you into like business? Where did you start?
I want to go back a little bit further and talk about like where I come from. And then I'll keep it brief and short.
But
first things first is I don't come from a rich background. Like I wasn't born into wealth. I wasn't born into even a rich family. I was born into actually like very low class, like poverty line. Right. Granted, my parents got divorced when I was like 3 years old. My mom came to America when she's 17. She got married to like a 33-year-old, right? My father, he's dope as fuck. But like, it's arranged marriage. She didn't know what she was doing. But so all kind of started all from my mother, right? She left my dad. She knew he wasn't good for us at the time, father being like, the father figure we needed. So she just left and we went from shelter to shelter as children, right? Into low income apartments, so on and so forth. I saw my mom build up into getting a house on rent. She's working 3 jobs. One thing my mom always put a lot of belief into me was like, I'm going to be great, right? It was like already said before I believed it that I was going to be great. Like my mom named me Ajay because it means relentless, to never give up. She named Akash, my middle brother, the moonlight, the one that helps everyone. And that's what he does. Prince, as you know, acts like a fucking prince. So like all of our names resonate with us. And my mom is actually the big manifester because she said I was going to be great. So that being said, time goes on. We go from living in Detroit to Ypsilanti to like, living in the hood to living in nice areas, so on and so forth. Well, my mom grinded. She didn't know English. She learned English. She taught me how to speak English, right? She taught me shit that she didn't know. So like she had the figured out mentality and characteristics, right? So like me seeing that was being installed into me. So she was an entrepreneur without being an entrepreneur, right? She had the character of it. She was risking, right? She's working 2-3 jobs, figuring out how to like get her kids to be successful. right? That was her only goal in mind, was very selfless for her children, right? Because she couldn't achieve those goals. She's like, how can my kids achieve the goals that they want, right? We're not rich, but she wanted to give us every opportunity we could get. So that being said, time goes on, right? We moved to Michigan, Ohio. It's me and my mom. My older brother moves in with my dad. Then it's just me and Akash. And Akash has been a huge inspiration in my life. Reason being, when he was like 13, he was running the household bills. He was doing so much that I can't, like, I would say maybe like 1,000 13-year-olds in the world were doing this, right? He was working as a 13-year-old, running the bills, making sure my mom's credit card payments are on time, educating her, learning about it at a very young age. It's incredible what he's doing.
Amazing.
I know my mom wouldn't want me to talk about it. It's a little personal, but like, I'll kind of bring it up. So like my mom ended up, like seeing this guy in California, and then we ended up moving in, then we're joint family together. He had his own 2 kids. So I guess you could say it's like my stepdad. Right. And at the time he had a limousine business. So this is where it all started. And this is what Akash took over, was a limousine company. Right. And this is where Akash was also now 14 years old, running a limousine company, dispatching, and learning the game. And then I was learning how to like input the credit cards into the credit card machine and like do billing and invoicing, right? Which something to this day I still fucking suck at. I hate billing and invoicing. So, the journey goes on, I'm doing that, and then I'm going to this middle school as well. There's a lot of shit that goes on this journey, but anyways, try to keep it brief. But like, there's this candy called bonbons. They're sold once or twice a year at my school. And the line would be like 2 hours long to buy the candies. It's French candy. So I went home one day. My brother also went previously to that middle school because he's like 5 years older than me. And we'd been in California for a little bit over 5 years. So I was like in 6th grade when I went there. So he went there when he was in 8th grade, but he knew about the candy as well. And I was like, bro, what if we sold these bonbons to everybody else? And it wasn't like no Skittles. It wasn't no traditional candy. It was just, I just noticed like naturally my brain, I didn't know about supply and demand. I just saw there's a huge supply for it. And there's a limited supply for it, but there's a huge demand for it. So what I did is my brother's like, oh shit, we can buy these for fucking cheap, right? I can get them for like 50 cents a pack. But these, when I see you, I'm going to bring you these candies. They're fucking good. I love these French candies.
Bonbons. I'll remember that.
Yeah, bonbons. And dude, he ended up ordering the pack. And I'll be honest, like, I didn't know what was going on. It's like, all right, 50-50 deal. Now, like at the time he had leverage. He's older, so he knew how to order that shit and he had the money to order it. So we did a 50-50. Wow. Dude, I went to school with this pack and I'm trapping out these bonbons now. And I'm giving everybody out of school. And dude, the whole school knows I got the bonbons. They're not fucking with the Skittles, dog. And like, dude, I'm like selling, like at one point, I'm not even selling some of these people on candy because I'm out at this point, right? I'm like, I got you on a monthly membership, dog. Like, I'm just trying to run out some money even more. And I'm just like figuring out ways to like make more money at these people. Like, and I was like, my brain naturally understands business. Like, well, like now that I think about it, cause like, I didn't know what lifetime value was, like, but how can I still make money off this person again? Right. Without even selling candy and do more. Right. And it's like kind of funny. I'm thinking back and I was like, holy shit, I had the right ideas. Like, how is my brain thinking of that? From there, right, we ended up stopping. I didn't get caught. My brothers didn't want me to get caught and get in trouble for it. Right.
Which is so silly. Cause why? It's not like you're selling drugs.
Yeah, I understand. It's whatever, right? Who gives a fuck anyways? Then we moved into the city in Mountain House, right? Like this was a huge transition in my life. I lived in apartments for like most of my life. And then we finally get our first house, which took like 12 months. Like I said, my family was not rich. My brother was a smart motherfucker and knew how we could get a loan. Our house was like 280 grand at the time. My mom was making like $36,000 a year. Right. So like, we borrowed money from people. It was very helpful. Like a lot of people really supported my mom because she's like, why I'm so selfless sometimes is because of her. She's helped so many people and she'll go above and beyond for everybody all the time. So we get the house. I moved to a city called Mountain House. I'm living in the suburbs. I'm kind of a broke kid in the suburbs. It's cool though. I'm not tripping. I got a fucking roof over my head. I feel like I'm living lavish now. You know what I mean? I never lived in the suburbs. I never had my own room before. You feel me? Like I got my own room now. Granted, I don't have a bed yet, but I'm not tripping.
How old were you?
I was like 13, right?
13. Okay. So
we called Mountain House. So yeah. I first come to Mountain House, like it wasn't too fun for me. As you know, Troy's my best friend. Me and him both hated each other. First met each other, didn't like me. Sounds like most people's stories from what I've heard. And then, bro, I found out like 8th grade year, like he had shoes and I started selling shoes for him. We created a really good friendship. Me and him always broke bread together. legally and legally. We can get into that later. Maybe we shouldn't drop the legal part on the internet yet, but maybe in 5 years we can. And I started selling shoes, bro. I was just like always like the one thing I always had. A lot of people didn't like this about me is like, I talk. So do you, right? And I'd always like figure out how to talk to people and convince them to buy shit off me. Right? I always had this like natural sales ability. And it's funny because Prince always told me that as a kid. Like, he's like, you're going to be a leader. He's like, you know how to do shit. Like, you're going to carry people and motivate them. And I was like, all right, whatever, bullshit, bro. And I'd go through 1 year, go out the other year. Now I'm like, damn, my brother recognizes shit before I did. Of like what I'm capable of actually doing. Time goes on, right? I go into freshman year, right? My brother, Akash, like we stopped doing the limousine business too. My mom and the guy separate, right? We got the house. Like, it just didn't work out. We don't need to get too deep into that. And like, it's just me, my mom, my brother again, right? And it's tough again, bro. Like, it's hard to see my mom work fucking 2 to 3 jobs to put a roof over my head, dude. She's making $36,000 a year, right? Trying to pay for my food. I'm also trying to play sports and shit. So at this point, we all got to kind of fend for ourselves, right? It's like, if I want to go out and hang out with my friends, I got to have my own bread. If I want to buy something, I got to have my own type of bread, right? My dad was supportive, but my mom didn't like me asking my dad for any money, right? My dad also didn't give child support either. So it's like kind of all dependent on my mom. It's like, all right, I got to really club. Right. So, but it gave me a lot of like perspective on life. It's like, it showed me like, I don't need like all that designer cool shit to live. Right. Like, I came with nothing. So me having a house was like everything. Right. Like it's like bragging, bro. It's like me fucking rocking around Gucci. I'm like, bro, I got a fucking crib. You can't fuck with me, bro. I don't give a fuck what your crib looks like. But this is the fucking goddamn best crib I've ever had. Right. Now things have changed. I want a bigger house, whatever. But it was like, that first home, like, I really truly love, because like we've built that home now. Like, dude, at one point, like the garage was like nothing, and now it's a whole office, right? I used to fucking work in a like cold ass garage with like nothing, and it was like ugly, all whatever, right? But anyways, now I'm going into 9th grade here, and Akash has this idea for these like bubble soccer, right? And I'm gonna share my screen. It's actually really cool. This is what it's called here. It's actually pretty interesting. So we'll do this here. Okay, whatever. We don't need to do that.
As you're pulling it up, I have a feeling the house that you lived in, the first house, it gave you like a sense of inspiration that it's like, damn, dude, I have a house now, a roof over my head. Like, anything is possible. And every kid needs that.
Yeah, bro. And like, dude, the thing is like my mom always told me everything's possible too from the beginning. It's like, bro, these are the bubbles right here, bro. Hold on. This might not even be it. That's definitely not it. Hold up. That ain't the bubbles. Hold on.
So the Bubble Mania, for those of you, the listeners who are not, some people are going to be on Spotify and Google, Amazon. How would you describe it? What is it exactly?
So it's like these soccer balls, right? That you can run into each other. It's hard to fucking want and not get, right? So like, we'll just do this like bubble soccer, right? Like, I'll just kind of show you through here. It's going to show you our direct Facebook page that we had. So, dude, it's like right here, right? Like, my brother made a $3,000 investment into these, right? And then my job was to solely find places that we can put them. And dude, this taught me so much business skills. Like, I ran with this for a little while and I learned so fucking much. Like, granted, I didn't execute on a lot that I learned, but I was like, dude, like, I was learning how to like go to these events, talk to people, right? Coordinate, tell the other person how to like put the kids into the bubble, train them, how to hire my boys. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know what our viewers look like, but we'd get high as fuck sometimes, just run these bubbles, right? And run these events.
Imagining. Yeah.
And
a lot of our viewers smoke weed. I'm very sure of it. So for the people that are listening that are trying to get a better grasp of this is literally like you put this on yourself. It's like almost like a costume. It's a big ass ball and you can run into people and it like basically you don't hurt yourself because it's a big bubble, basically a big soccer ball. Yeah. And Ajay basically sold it with his brother.
Let me explain how. So we'd go to like music in the parks. We'd go to all these events with a lot of people and be like, hey, it's $10 for one round or $20 all day. And we'd have hundreds of people come play, hundreds of kids, right? It's where our ideal audience is. And the kids are convincing their parents like, mom, I really want to play, spin me around. I want to bump into my brother. And it's easy sell, bro. It's like, hey, like you come back twice now, right? So typically it's funny. They'll buy the first round and you'll notice the kid wants to play the second round. I'm like, hey, Sally, like just give me the extra $10. I got you. I was like a little finesse I learned. Like, I got you. I'll get you this extra round and I got you for the 20. Like, let's do it. Right. And it was like, dude, I was like selling these people and dude, we'd walk home on like $3,000 days. The best part was I was also marketing myself too. Cause now, right. Like I said, like all marketing doesn't always have to be digital. That's what I learned. It's like there's other ways to drive in traffic without having to spend a whole lot of money and solve problems for your business. Right.
Sure.
Okay, raise your hand. You want me to stop?
No. It's the screen being weird,
Okay.
but go for it.
So then, right, these people are coming in and whatnot, and like it's working, bro. Like we're making some money, and dude, it's awesome, dude. I made a good amount of money. Like we made like a little over $30,000. It wasn't all profit, but it was definitely like worth it. I had to pay out staff, like some of the bubbles got deflated. Average business costs, but we still walked home with like over 50% margins, right? So like that's
who was your very first hire? What was your first hire ever that you've ever made in your life?
It wasn't even like proper. It was just like, hey, homie, you want to come do this event with me? Like, let's go have some fucking fun. Right. Or to be like my little brother. And like, dude, it was like not proper. There's no onboarding process, but it was like, see, like why I wear Nike so much. It was like the fact that I just had to do it and learn it. Right. Like, I don't need to think so deep about it, but like, as you can tell, I spent 6 years doing this now. Now my hiring process is far different. Right. Like not what your wants, needs, and desires are, blah, 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 blah. We can get to that later. Yeah. Anyways, from there, right now we're at the age of when I'm like 15, right. Getting to high school. My mom's health issues aren't going too good. I'm also a ball player, dude. I'm fucking killing it on the court, though. I'll tell you that. I'm like legit a baller.
And he has a good two-step. I'll give him that.
Not a two-step. I got a great three-pointer. I pull up from half court, hit it about 6 times out of 10, like 60% when I'm wide open. No cap. No cap my rap. Like, you can ask anybody I hoop with. I'm hitting that shit, dog. I be giving people buckets. AK, Joel, you're probably gonna hate me for saying this, but I crossed Joel and made him drop to the ground last time we played.
Well, but Joel's definitely not gonna hear this because he's gonna get really pissed. He takes basketball very serious. We talked for like 2 hours yesterday. He's like, I dropped.
The thing is like, Joel, bro, I love you, bro, but I had to expose you, bro. Like I dropped your ass, bro. I got Sergio Mark watching them. But anyways, bro, getting into it. I'm a ball player. I'm hooping, bro. I'm having fun. Yeah. I'm going to school. I'm making money. Like I'm really enjoying life, bro. Like my mom put me in a great situation to where, bills aren't a concern for me. Like living on the streets isn't a concern for me. I'm not having people shoot guns outside of my house. And like, I'm very grateful for the opportunity my mom put me in, right? Like she didn't want like me to not have what she didn't have, right? She grew up in a village where it wasn't helpful for her, right? Like there was no internet. There was that shit.
Where's she from?
She's from India, Punjab, Amritsar.
Punjab. What year did she move here? Were you guys born here or in India?
I was born here. We all were born here.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because you guys don't have like an accent whatsoever.
Yeah. So basically, bro, what happened was like, damn, people are going to get lost in this podcast. But anyways, so like I'm a hooper, I'm balling and shit. You know what I mean? Things are going well. I'm making bread on the side. I partake in a little bit of illegal activities to make some more bread. We don't need to dive into that too much, but like, just know this, it wasn't like anything like a big drug, but I just moved around some weed, right? Like I found it very easy and lucrative to move. And I started learning how to do it and systemizing it. And I was like, holy shit, I can have other people sell it for me. But I had to stop myself and check myself. I was like, yo, is this actually a good decision to keep going with, right? Like I was ended up selling to my teachers. I was selling to my coaches. I was selling to people's parents. And I was like growing pretty fast with this, right? Like I said, my natural skill is being able to talk to people. It's like, it's crazy. I was able to convince my basketball coaches and teachers to buy weed off me. Right.
That's wild. That's super wild. I did not even know that.
Yeah. So like,
I'm thinking like the title of this podcast is going to be how he went from selling drugs to his teachers too.
No, but it's crazy, bro. It's like, I knew how to build those relationships and build the trust with people. That's the thing is like, bro, when people trust you and believe in you, like a lot of shit's going to go for you. Well, like it's going to go really well. And that's the thing I'm learning is like just building trust with people, give. Don't even ask. It's going to come to you. So anyways, right. We stopped doing that. Like I'm able to I'm smooth with my money and shit. Everything's going really well. Right. I'm buying myself basketball shoes. I'm buying my homie shit now. We're like, this is terrible. Like I'm ditching school and shit. I'm having fun, bro. I'm living life. I'm hooping. I'm living life. I got a girlfriend. I'm talking to other girls too. Like after we broke up, not cheating. So everybody knows.
So high school. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. So then dude, I like something. So like at the time I'll tell you so Akash is living alongside me, right? He's flipping cars and shit. And he's also working with this guy in India. So like, this is a crazy story. Now, a lot of people don't know this about us, that we went through this. And you're actually the first person to know about this. Probably spread the community. It's like, so like, things are going well for us. Everything's going good. My brother's like working with this guy in India from like when I was a freshman and he was like 5 years old. And he was like in college. My mom, the guy that my mom used to like be with, introduced him to him, right? His name was Chaudhary, something like that. And he's telling my brother how he runs his tech business, right? And my brother just did all the accounting for some of the things and like a few other things, nothing crazy, just mainly accounting and stuff. And he had a bank account open here, like so the money could come in, and then they're looking to invest further. So little did my brother know, this guy actually was a scammer. And he was actually leveraging my brother's name to ship out narcotics, but not like crazy narcotics, just sleeping medicine. It was like level 1 narcotics, like nothing like Xanax or anything like that, like smaller than that. But it's still illegal to ship them over like federal lines.
Sure.
So like one day,
For
like,
sure.
I was coming back from an AAU basketball tournament from Vegas, and I just lit it up. And it's my junior year in high school. You know, I'm like, I'm just getting done selling weed. And then all of a sudden, I hear the feds outside of my house. Open up. Boop, boop, boop. Open up. And bro, there's a fucking, they're holding ARs and shit around me. And I wake up, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, oh shit, my neighbors are getting raided. So I'm like recording on Snap. I'm like, dog, my neighbors are getting raided. What the fuck's going on? Little do I know they're coming to my house. Right? It's not my fucking neighbors.
Wow.
And dude, this is crazy because this is where everything really changed for me. And this is where everything in my life like changed for the worse, but for the better too. So like this is where the story gets juicy. So they come, I open up the door. They're like, hey, are you Akash Kapoor? You're under arrest. I'm like, no, I'm a Jay Kapoor. I'm like, what's going on? Right. And dude, my family hates me for this, but I know I'm a G for this shit. They're like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, yo, your brother's under arrest. I was like, and at the time, bro, my brother's not at the crib and I've been gone the whole weekend. So I'm thinking in my head, bro, did my brother just murder somebody and take off? I got no clue what's going on. But dude, I had so much love for my brother because he's done so much for me. I literally told him, I was like, whatever he did, I'm taking account for it. Give me the charges. So they arrested him. And dude, this was just a little naive and like douchebaggy or whatever it was in me. Like I probably shouldn't have done that. It wasn't a smart thing. I should just like been like, let me get an attorney. But you know, I'm fucking like 17 years old. I'm like, I'm a little like, let's say cocky and I don't give a fuck and don't know about consequences of life. So it wasn't a smart idea. But I'm like, yo, arrest me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't give a fuck. My hands are behind my back. And they're like, hey, we have a warrant to search your house. And they're searching your house and they're looking through and they don't find nothing in there. Right. And I'm over here like, I'm literally sitting there like, where's your brother? I'm like, fuck you. I'm not saying shit. I'm like, I did all of it. My brother didn't do shit. Dude, these guys are getting pissed at this point. They're like, who the fuck is a 17-year-old telling us fuck you, this and that, right? And dude, it was so dumb. Like, honestly, it's just best to cooperate. Like don't do what they tell you to do on TV and you see all these other people doing when they're getting arrested. You're just causing more conflict. Like, just be chill, respect them, right, bro? Like, at the end of the day, they hold leverage and they can kill you and be able to potentially get away with it, right? They have a badge and they have leverage, right? So like, you gotta be a little bit more strategic. And you know, my brother comes home. They find him at the gym. He's just working out. He's making some gains, and he comes to me. We both just like start laughing. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? And they end up breaking down to me like, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, dog, my brother didn't do shit. And this is a really scary moment in my life. Like, they were like, what the fuck is that? Is that a train?
Is that for you or me?
That's you, bro.
I guess I thought that was I thought it was your brother lifting, like the barbells.
Yeah, so,
I mute myself. Go.
So, bro, like, what happened was like, you know, they're telling my brother like, yo, like, you might be facing like 3 to 5 years in jail, and that broke my heart at the time, bro. Like, that was really challenging to hear because my brother's never done anybody wrong and he never indulged into anything bad, right? So it's like very scary to hear like, you know, the breadwinner, the fucking one person that we all know is gonna win, right? In our life, like everybody's always betting on Akash. Like he's a smart motherfucker, right? Like if Akash isn't good, we're all fucked. That's what it was at that point, right? And bro, like it was crazy because this actually really brought my family together too. You know, my brother's in Michigan, my dad was in Michigan, and dude, they drained all of our bank accounts. And at the time, my brother was like stopping working with this guy, right? Like he hadn't been working with him for the last like 3 months, bro. So like we lost everything, bro. I lost everything I had. I lost all my
for
cash.
what did they end up? What did they end up?
So like they took everything, bro. Like I had like maybe $2,000 cash, and like I always had, and like dude, at first I'll be honest, I thought they're coming to me for the weed. I was like, damn, I was trapping too much, but really I wasn't. It wasn't really that big of a deal. Like maybe I sold at most like a couple pounds, like altogether. But anyways, like dude, it was like crazy because bro, like we were dry, bro. And we had a payment to pay next month. And my mom was in India at the time adopting her daughter, right? Which we can get into later. and she needed money as well. And like, we were supposed to be there to support her. And we're in this fucking big bind. And me and my brother at the time, like, my brother's like, we'll figure it out. We don't need to tell anybody. And then they ended up taking me away to, like, they're going to take me to juvenile hall. They decided not to. They're like, okay, we're going to put him in child protective services because he's 17. He's got 6 months till he turns 18 or whatever it was. And bro, that was like a really scary moment in my life because I thought my brother's going to go into jail for the next 3 to 5 years of his life. And dude, that was like
Wow.
really tough to deal with everybody. Like, my brother's depressed. Like, I wasn't as happy. Like, I was worried and concerned for him. And dude, it was tough. Like, definitely really tough to go through. My dad ended up flying out the next day. He found out. My older brother came with them. They're really supportive. You know, luckily my brother didn't have to end up going to jail that night and get locked up. They ended up letting him go because the jail was overbooked. So God bless. He actually never even been inside of a jail cell. So it's like a really unique situation. And what happened was, bro, over time, they wanted him to cooperate and he was like all for it. Like, they knew like he wasn't the guy. Like, the FBI agent, I talked to Mark. He's a fucking goat. I love Mark. I talked to him about like a year ago again. He knew about how I sold weed and everything, but he knew also what I was up to too, because they seized my phones and everything as well. So we had nothing to even contact people. It was like crazy. Like a very cool,
Wow.
unique experience, bro. Like, dude, like, I'm telling you, like, real FBI shit. Like, dog, some real FBI shit. Because this guy that was like doing this shit wasn't just playing us. He's played other people in America too. You know what I mean?
They're insane. That's probably the most insane moment of your life.
Yeah, no, and it was crazy because it's nothing that we ever expected, right? So it gave me a really interesting perspective on life of like, always just be ready for the worst, but prepare for the worst, hope for the best. But anyways, what happened then was like, bro, like, my dad comes, he helps pay for the lawyer. So like, if my dad didn't help pay for that lawyer, we'd have been fucked. Like, he walks us through like the worst case scenario, the best case scenario. And my brother's cooperating with them. And then, dude, like 6 months down the line, they just drop the case. They're like, hey, like, we know you're not the guy. They're like, we're not going to pursue it. We don't want to put you in jail. Right. And what they said is like, technically, a defense attorney can pick this up in the next 3 years and pursue it if they want to, but it's very unlikely. So now the 3 years have passed now, just saying, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. Like,
you're 17 basically, right?
Yeah.
So junior in high school.
Yeah. Like, we had to start from ground zero again. And like, we had a lot of family issues going on too, bro. Like, my brother and my dad wanted us to move to Michigan. Right. And live as a family, as a unit together. And they're like, yo, Michigan's way cheaper. It's not like California. My mom's like, fuck that. I'm not going back to Michigan where I left. I don't want to be around that surrounding. So they're like, at least you two come. And at the time, like, what happened is like, my dad also is a truck driver. So he tells my brother, he's like, why don't you start up a trucking company? My brother's like, yeah, I want to. So he actually gives my brother a truck for $10,000, right? Probably the shittiest truck we could ever gotten. And, you know, I'm in Michigan at the time with my family and I hated it there. I was like, I want to come back. I want to live with my mom. I want to live in Cali. And this created a lot of family drama. We didn't get into it, but I basically ended up booking a flight back without telling my brothers and my dad. I'm going back to live with my mom. And like, they already knew it was coming. It's just like, I literally just dipped because like, they did not want me to leave. And I was like, I need to go back. So I went back, bro. I started working on the trucking company with my older brother. And I was just doing dispatching, finding loads for the trucks. And this is where the true journey actually begins. Right. I'm having fun a little bit. You know, I'm back in my city. I'm having a little bit of fun. I'm able to like, you know, be a little happy again after I've been through all of that shit, being down. And we still have no money, bro. I see my mom working 3 jobs, paying the rent off of the house and now supporting me as well. And I'm not going back to selling weed. I'm like, dude, fuck that. I've seen like all the shit that can go wrong with this. I cannot indulge in that behavior. Right. And I was like,
lucky.
Yeah, yes. But like, I'm going to actually go back about this too. Like when I was 15 as well, like I was starting up like e-commerce and store shit back then too. Right. So it's like, I was also like learning how to make digital money. So like take a step back for all that shit happened. Like I knew the owner of Dirty Minds at the time. We were building together and like all this, like all the social media stuff I'm working on is like in the back pocket. It's growing, right? I'm learning these skills. So then it comes that time, right? I'm working with my brother. Like I was in Michigan, right? I did some sales for my Hustle Fitness in person because he owned an in-person gym. Ran off, took home, right? California. And I'm starting this logistics company with Akash. So like we're working on logistics company for like the first 6 months. It's going like not that well, but it's like, it's a business, bro. It's fucking hard learning new shit, right? Especially in the whole industry. So what ended up happening is like Akash started flying back and forth to California and visiting back home in Michigan. And then eventually ended up moving back here permanently. My dad wasn't too happy about it, but it actually gets a lot better. It's for the grander image. So me and my brother are working together daily now. And bro, this is like where a lot of shit changed. I started reading this book called $1 Million Success Habits, and it really changed my framework of how I think of things now, right? Like the one thing I took away from that book was like, when shit goes wrong and you say, oh, fuck, I fucked up. It's like, you got to change with a positive affirmation afterwards. Like, I fucked up, but it's going to be all good, right? I read that book, changed perspective, and I went way harder in business, right? It taught me this one other perspective, like, what would you do if God's watching you? What would you do if your idol's watching you, right? When you're working. And that was like a huge belief I had. And my brother's a CEO at the time. But dude, my brother dealt with like low-key depression for a little while with what he went through because he lost everything. And it's really hard to build back character. And
zero, literally zero after the grinding for years to get anything that he had.
Yeah. And dude, he had like 40,000 cash saved because he's flipping cars, right?
Wow.
He lost all of that too because of that. And he stopped doing that, the other shit with that guy too, right? And he started doing this and it's like crazy. He lost everything. We never got the money back either, which is crazy. So anyways, we're in the logistics company. And then, bro, we started going hard with it, bro. Like, I was like, bro, how the fuck can we build this? Like, I want mom to retire, blah, 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 blah. And like, dude, I was like cold calling, cold walk-ins, doing everything I fucking can to get us new clients and try to understand it, bro. And bro, like, it was crazy because my brother just didn't have the same energy I did when we were working. And I remember, bro, like, I went up to him. I was so emotional about it. I started crying. I was like, bro, I'm not going to let mom work another day like this fucking again. Like, you either need to fucking step up with me or just stop doing this shit. Right? Like, I will do this on my own. I do not want that type of energy here. Like, I will fucking carry the team if I have to on my own and build this by myself, but you cannot be like this. And then something in his brain that day shifted because he saw how emotionally attached was to, like, it was all selfless for me. It was never selfish. It was never I wanted money. It was when I set my family up for success. It's all I've ever wanted. And now I have that too. But anyways, get more into that. So dude, I'm like cold calling, I'm cold walking, I'm like doing dispatching for the drivers, I'm doing billing, I'm doing systems, I'm working with my brother.
Everything.
Now we have a different energy, right? Now we're doing team with our drivers. We're building. And it's crazy because then now I'm in the process of getting one of the biggest contracts we can get, right? You know what happens? It doesn't go through.
Why?
So I'll explain. So it's the company called DHL, right? They needed help with trailer storage and moving parts back and forth. We found this out. It's called an FTZ zone. It's called a federal trade zone. And what we did is like we found out a niche that we could work with and it's very lucrative. We gave them our rate and they were down for it, but the project ended up getting pushed back, right? And it was like, it just fell through, whatever. And I was like, fuck. And it did hurt, but something about me did not want to quit. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to keep going. Like, that's not the only reason I'm here, right? So I just keep going. I keep cold calling, bro. And dude, I'm setting up appointments, bro. I'm doing a great job. Like, I'm sitting down with people from the company called like Diamond Pet Food, bro. Like Fortune 500 companies I'm sitting down with, bro. Off these cold calls and cold walk-ins, like I am setting this shit up and my brother's seeing like, holy shit, shit's actually happening. Like, this motherfucker's actually producing results, right? Like, he's actually getting leads in the door.
It's amazing.
Like, I'm having trouble closing them. And the crazy thing is, bro, I'm on YouTube scraping in the middle of the night how I can close trucking deals. And dude, there's no blueprint for this shit. It's not like, I bought a course. I had to figure this shit out on my own. I had to just do it, right? There's nothing there for me to just fucking directly learn from a coach to mentor me. I had to just build this on my own. The thing is I was so attached to how big I could build this thing and how much I could take care of my family that nothing mattered to me. I literally stopped. Like, you guys, my friends, there's 6 months where I said I wasn't going to talk to anybody or hang out with anybody until I closed a deal. So come back. I'm still cold calling, cold walking in, right? And what I ended up doing is I ended up cold walking into DHL, their facility now, right? Not their corporate office in Ohio, right? So I walk into their facility. I'm like, hey, like, we are blah, blah, blah. And I ended up repitching them. And they're like, yo, we actually need help with this facility. Corporate just kind of fucks shit up in Ohio because like there's like a lapse they have. Like, when you run big Fortune 500 companies, there's so many decision makers. It's kind of hard to get a decision, right? It's like really hard. And I ended up following up with them again, and I kept following up. And I was like, I had other leads in the door, and dude, it's crazy. They were ready. Like by the 7th follow-up through email, we hopped on a call, and then the deal was started now. And the crazy thing is, like, we had so many other deals starting at the same time too. There's like, holy shit, like it all ended up paying off. Now we get options. We got leverage. We can pick what we want to work with. So we started off with DHL, bro. And within 6 months, it's crazy. This is the craziest moment of my life. And this is when I knew like I could make it. That ended up becoming $200,000 in profit a month for my brother and my family.
From literally nothing to making something to losing everything to 200K in profit.
It actually makes me emotional because I remember that day when it hit his account, and bro, it was like crazy. It was like unbelievable to me. I was like, did I just make that happen? Like, that happened because of the work I put in. Like, this is possible, bro. Like, anybody can do it. Dude, I've always been told I'm not a smart motherfucker, and I know that. But you know what I have? The mentality of just doing it and figuring it out. Like, I always talk about this now. I hire off character because only reason I'm at where I'm at is because of my character. It's not because of my intelligence. It's my grit. It's the character I built for myself, right? And that's what's going to keep taking me further. Is the character to want to just learn, the character to do it, the character to willing to fail and keep going because it doesn't fucking matter. I want it bad enough for my family, right? I want to put them on. So the crazy thing is, bro, that $200,000 a month, zero of that came to me. I took zero profit home. And
so my brother took some home, right?
Huh?
At least your brother, it's your family.
My brother took all of it home. But like the thing was, like, he took care of my dad, he took care of my mom, you know.
Oh, he took care of you too.
Yeah, dude, he's paying for like the house rent or whatever. But that was the deal we had. Was like, yo, now you're paying for this, but that's like, I don't need to pay bills and shit because like this is my way of paying for them. Right.
Definitely.
So like, dude, it's crazy. Like, you stacking cash and like it's crazy because like it's unfortunate because like he fired me immediately after that. He's like, he told me, he said, your social media shit's doing well. Go do it. You don't need to work here. Like, he's like, you need to work on something bigger. But the thing was, bro, I'm a businessman. I'm not a marketer. I'm not this. I have a lot of skills, but I'm a businessman. So like my thing was like, I wanted to own the ports. I wanted to do airplane transportation. I was thinking big. I was like, I want to run the whole fucking supply chain industry. Right. And like anything I do, like that's how my brain just works. It's like, I just go all into it. Right. It's just how my brain works. Like as I start doing it more and more and more, I just fall in love with building. Right. Like that's what I really actually like doing. So bro, like I get into social media and stuff, and bro, like I come into it with a really unique mindset and like really fresh. And I started building up my media agency. As you guys know, we have a page that's 8.8 million followers. I have other theme pages as assets as well. They're like,
so let's talk about that really quick because that's a huge jump. So how did this happen? And you know, you're gonna get
that was happening.
You're gonna get tagged. People are gonna check you out on TikTok because you're posting consistently on TikTok. So you do speak about it, but like talk a little bit about the story of how you went, you know, from cold calling these old guys to social media.
I was working like 14, 16 hours. I was grinding because logistics was like where I was all in and I knew I was getting paid the most, but I was also still building this with my partner, James. And bro, like, I'll be honest, like a lot of people don't know this. Like I wasn't the founder of Dirty Minds, but I gave him so much value that he gave me half the page's equity. I'm a 50-50 partner with him now. Right. So like I built that relationship over time. Right. And we had a network that we built together, like Dirty Minds TV, Ladies, Mercy, Instagram, and all these other pages. And now we made other acquisitions too for other theme pages, right? That I can't disclose on here. I'm like under contracts. Like it's like pretty big now what I'm doing. But yeah, bro, like over time, like he knew I was working on logistics and he fucking like, dude, that's when he knew, like he believed in me. Cause he'd like, dude, like, I don't know how you're doing all of this and grinding and still building this company up. Right. Cause I just had grit, bro. I just wanted it that bad. Right. Like,
and that's where it starts. It starts with grit, bro.
Yeah, and the thing was like my brother my brother loves social media. Like he hates trucking. He thinks it's boring as fuck. But the thing is like I don't think any business is boring. I just enjoy doing all of it. I'll be real with you. Like it's just really fun for me to build. And my brother's like, dude, you need to pursue the social media stuff. You're gonna like make it big with it. You're already doing so well. And dude, I just went all into it. Like I was depressed for like probably like a month and a half, like 2 months, because I was like really sad. I let go of the trucking company because dude, that was like my baby. Like I built that shit from the ground up. Like I was truly a 50-50 partner with my brother. And the reason why the company's where it's at is because of half of me. Like, and like, he understands that too. And it's not out of ego. It's just like I could say I built that shit, right? Like I was there putting in the hard hours when nobody else was. I was there fucking talking to drivers at 1 a.m. when it was time for me to sleep. And I had to wake up at fucking 5 a.m. the next morning, dispatch again. Right. And then I'd do cold calls and all this shit. And then I'd do my social media company at the same time. So what ended up happening is I made that full transition to social media, and it's hard for me to love the game of social media and marketing, right? It was really hard for me at first because I had so much love for what I was doing before, and it's kind of hard for me to translate into this. It's like I built that up, and it was really hurtful that I wasn't part of it anymore, right? It's like, fuck, I just built that up for nothing. But it wasn't for nothing, right? My mom's like, dude, my mom doesn't have to work as much anymore, dude. She's a fucking full-time masseuse coming to her house, massaging her every day. She's living her fucking best life. You know what I mean? Like,
gets to see you guys, hang out with you guys. So you got to do a social media game. How did you get into OnlyFans? Because that's like the one that I didn't even know when I first talked to you. I was like, what?
I'll dive into this a little bit. So I run a marketing agency at the end of the day, right? I work with OnlyFans agencies and help grow them, right? Meaning I drive all the traffic there. But the cool thing is all media is the same, right? So I had this page with 8.8 million followers. It's called Dirty Minds, the number one adult humor page. It's safe for work, by the way, if anybody's listening. It's not nudity or anything. It's just funny adult memes or funny adult TikToks, right? And all these models always want to promote on our page, and it costs them $2,000. Like, this is a high cash flowing asset. My page can make anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 a month, right? And all these models want to promote. And then one day I was talking to this model called Francetti. I talked to her husband. He's like, dude, you guys should start your own agency. And I was like, why would I do that? Right. And like, dude, like, I just learned from there. Like, he's like, you start your own agency. He showed me how much he's making. My dog's making $300,000 plus a month off of one OnlyFans account. It's his wife's account.
Wow.
And I'm like,
wow.
And that's when I learned, like, the adult industry is like really profitable. But my thing was, like, I didn't want to do like the nitty gritty work of this OnlyFans. I just want to do the marketing. So I'm a marketer and I'm a business owner. So what I did is, like, I partnered with the right people, right, that run an OnlyFans agency. Like, and I'm really good at systems and operations now too. So I help them set up the processes for how everything should work. And I said, you guys run this. I just want to be a marketing agency. I don't want to do that, but I'm cool with making money off of it, because at the end of the day, I can drive traffic to an iPhone and sell this as well. It doesn't matter whatever it is. I can make the offer off social media marketing and drive it, because it's the same principle as promoting a model. It doesn't fucking matter. And that's what I started learning, right? And that's where the idea of a media agency came to my mind. Is like, if I can grow 8.8 million followers here, why can't I do it for anybody else? So I was like, why don't I just learn the process of how I did this? And I started doing it. And that's when I also had my e-commerce store as well, which is a sex toy store, right? And that's why I kind of got into the sex industry a little bit. When I was selling out of those products, and I was like, holy shit, this is like all the same. Because then I had a jewelry store at one point too. I was selling out all my products. I was like, I just did the same shit I did there and here. All the same. Why are people so confused when it comes to marketing? It's all the same shit. What's so fucking hard about this? Just cater your offer to the right niche, right? It's like, it's all the same principles. You just cater to that niche a little bit more, right? Like, business has the same frameworks, right? Like, every company has an offer, then they have a sales process, right? Like, it's all the same processes. It's just like the sales is a little bit different, right? The offer is a little bit different, right? So it's like, when I started learning that, my shift in business completely shifted, because I came a lot better operationally. I was like, I see. Maybe I should spend a lot of my time learning operations. Because I'll tell you this, a lot of entrepreneurs are visionaries. Well, I'd say 90% of them, but nobody knows operations. They don't know how to build infrastructure. Like, they do, right? But it's not like...
Not at a high level. Not the way you do.
Yeah.
So listen.
The way I learned it was by doing it, right? I set up systems, processes. I made looms for trainings. Then I had Asana boards to structure it, right? And then it's like, dude, it's like so much more than that anyways. But it's like, holy shit. Like, I learned like systems, and I learned scalable processes. That's why my agency is going to do over $500,000 a month now, which is crazy, right? Like, it's getting close to that.
I'm literally zero, guys, to $500,000 a month in 2 years.
No, so I'll kind of tell you guys what happened. So, like, I sold my first agency, right, for like low six figures. It just wasn't a good partnership with my partner. And I restarted a new one about like a couple months ago. And that's when I framed it as a marketing agency fully. And I was like, I'm not an OnlyFans agency. Like, I do marketing for so many other people now. I can't disclose. I buy more things. Because, like, dude, with media, like, meme pages are media, right? It's got eyeballs. I can drive traffic anywhere, right? So I started buying more,
like hoods and all that shit.
Yeah. So recently I started buying more meme pages, and I have a team set up for that, right? And then there's media for influencers. Now, if I manage influencers and talent, that's more eyeballs this way, right? So, like, simply what I do, I'll actually explain it to you guys, is I help grow communities, brands, and influencers, and help them monetize in creative ways while generating over 1 billion impressions a year. So I generate over 1 billion impressions a year. Like, I get over 1 billion people to see some shit over a year. So I think it's right on like 2 to 3 billion now. That's literally what you just said is the title of the episode. Thank you. I was looking for it. I was like, what am I going to name this episode? Because he's going over so much. Yeah, and it might be hard. Anybody's listening, I know it might be hard to listen to it, but dude, like, why it's hard to listen to is because I've done so much and I've built so much experience doing so much different shit. So if you're a younger entrepreneur,
he's only 21.
Yeah, it's true. Like, if you're a younger entrepreneur, like, dude, just do everything you can. Literally. If you're gonna go like people be like, just focus on one thing. Fuck that, bro. Go learn different shit. Go try out different shit, see what you like, don't like. You might like marketing. You might like fucking selling go-karts, golf carts, right? There's millions of ways of making money. Find out what turns you on. No,
literally and figuratively. Yo, so okay, we got about 10 minutes left. I want to dive into some spicy stuff with you as well before we head into like the last two segments. So if you're a young entrepreneur and you kind of touched on this, and you're telling everybody to go learn everything, which is cool. Because I don't think like that. I think you should go focus on one thing and get really fucking good at that one thing. What do you mean by go learn everything? Like where would you start? Where would they go?
It's kind of hard, bro. That's why I don't like giving advice. Because
you've had such a crazy story.
I don't know your story, dude. Like my story is like crazy, bro. Like you can't replicate what I've done because I've just been through so much different shit, bro. And like experience is what builds character, right? It's like things you go through is what builds you up. So it's like, dude, I've been fortunate enough to go through some of these unfortunate circumstances that have built me who I am. And I had to learn all these different things to become who I am, right? Like, dude, like now I own equity in a company that's going to sell for $1 billion the next 5 years. Right. And I own like 7.5% or sorry, 5%. I'm going to get a little bit more percentage now. Right. So it's like, and you know how that happened is like building a relationship with an NBA player who just meet a lot of other people in the cannabis industry, whatever. Right. It's in a cannabis company, but it's like, dude, why they fuck with me so much is because I have so much different experience and a lot of different shit. So I don't just provide marketing skill sets, but I provide a lot of operational skill sets. Right. It's like I built out like, dude, I was talking to Stizzy, the company the other day. We can't put this in there. So we'll have to edit this out. It's just between me and you. I was talking to them. Stizzy, dude, they're making $50 million a month. They're one of the biggest cannabis brands in the world. And they're licensing out their business right now to other people where they're doing a franchise model. And they're like, yeah, our team's like working with everybody directly. I'm like, why would you guys do that? Right. Because also people don't know this, but like my brother bought Gym Launch when I was like 16, 17. So I was able to watch a lot of other different shit. Right. There's a lot of different other courses I was able to watch. I also watched Jeff Miller's course.
Shout out to Alex.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex, bro. He like, dude, I met Alex when I was 17. I hopped on a Zoom call with him, like, because I was doing sales for Prince. Right. And then I was like the youngest motherfucker in there. And Alex is cool with me. And he's like really happy. So that's why I also have a relationship with Alex Ramosi now. Right. But it's just like, dude, I had to go through so much different experience and I learned so much different shit. So this is what I told Stizzy. I was like, look, what I would do for you guys is I'd license out your business this way is do Zoom calls Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Give all your licensees and franchisees the resources and then only allocate your best teams towards the ones that are striving the most. Right. And I was like, one, you're going to be more efficient with your guys' time. And then you're able to qualify who you want to work with. And then you can also take these people to 10x further. And what you want is while you're doing this is you want an average number all of your licensees hit. Right, dude, it's like common business that makes so much sense in my head. But most people, like my brain's been around so many different businesses, right? Learning Gym Launch, learning logistics, learning like marketing agencies like you guys.
Everything.
So it's like everything. It's like, that's why it's built me up to who I am. And that's why it's like, I don't like giving people advice. That's the one thing I don't like because I don't know your story. You know, you might have come from like an abusive family. I came from a very nurturing mother who told me I was going to be great. She told me I'm going to run the world. She told me you're gonna be a killer. So I have these beliefs in me now that have been manifested so much already early, right? That it's like it's just bound to happen. It's like what was made for me to happen. Like, dude, my family is a fucking huge believer in me, and most people don't have that, right? And I've been through so much different experience that it's just like this is just my story. This is what's meant to happen. And I don't know how to teach you how to replicate what I've done and try to have the amount of success I've had. I don't even have a lot of success. Like I'm
just getting started.
It's not even getting started, bro. I'm nothing. Like success is different to everybody. Like I hit my success when I retired my family. That's everything I wanted.
Yeah, me too.
Now it's just shits and giggles and I have fun doing this. Right. It's
I love it.
Now it's like I'm just striving to be better every day. And I'm like, I don't know how far I'm gonna take this. Like I don't have a goal. If I'm gonna hit $1 billion, 10 billion. I just want to keep going and see. Like, 10 years from now, I might not even want to work anymore. 10 years from now, I might want to keep working, right? I just don't know. And it's kind of interesting.
Don't know what you don't know. Cool. All right, man. Well, let's go to the last two segments and then we'll fire it off. So there's a segment that I started called Hire Fire. I'm going to give you 3 examples of people and you're going to tell me if you would hire them or if you would fire them, meaning you would not even give them a chance. So and we're going to focus on your company right now, with where you are right now, not, the trucking company, not the other stuff that you've done in the past. There's a person that has a great culture fit, Ajay. Literally matches your personality, matches your team's personality. Like everything's perfect. but they have literally zero experience in this, in the workspace that you're looking for. They have know nothing about marketing, sales, but they're a great culture fit. Would you hire someone like that?
So here's what I would do. First, I'd ask them if they have TikTok on their phone. Do they have TikTok on their phone? Yes or no?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, you're hired. Because look, I'll explain why. It's going to be a 2-week process, right? How I bring on actually, like, dude, I've actually really been focusing on talent acquisition and how I can bring people in. First, I'd ask them, what's your wants, needs, and desires? Like, what do you want out of the situation? What are you looking for? Right? Like, that's what I always ask. Because like, once you can figure out what your people want, what their needs and desires are, you can give them the right offer to make them want to stay forever. Right? Like most people don't take the time to actually get to know their staff, especially when you're small. I feel like there's to be a very loving culture, and especially as you as a CEO, have to be very selfless. As long as their ambitions are coming true, they're like, I have the 80-20 principle in life. Like mine is like 80-20, right? So the 20% is selfish for me now, right? Because everything's been selfless. As long as I spend 80% being selfless, the 20% of the selfish shit that I want, I'll get. Does that make sense? Naturally. Right? I want more money. It'll naturally come as I help other people make more money. So like I'd give him 4 weeks, right? I'll train him. And if he's not able to figure it out by then, right? Maybe like, depending on my attachment to him, I might give him another 2 weeks. But if he's just not performing at the level we need him to perform, like I might offer him an intern position and be like, hey bro, like if you rock with us for another 6 weeks, like here's what you can get. Cause I'll tell you this, like I have an intern right now, Jorge, right? He did not have any experience, but he had grit and he's willing to learn, but he understood it, right? He understood what was going on, right? That was the thing, is like he watched YouTube videos. He had a little bit of weight, right? So, and then
it's huge.
Now he's going into a leadership position because I believed him as well. Like I always told him, like, bro, I believe in you. You're going to fucking kill it, right? He went from not being paid to being paid. So personally, like hiring, I feel like has context to it a lot. It's like, I got to figure out this guy's character, right? What's this guy's character? He has great character. Awesome. Like that's truly how I hire, is off of experience, like 30% is experience. I'll say 20% is experience, 80% is character, right? It comes down to the one principle I follow in life, the 80-20 rule. And I follow that for 80, a lot of different things. I believe like I love it. 80% of decisions are quick, right? They're black and white, yes or no.
Beautiful.
20% of context. That's how I scale my decision-making process. My team knows that. Bring an example. My guy was like, hey bro, should we buy this fucking outfit for this person? It costs $500, but there's another one for like $200. I was like, look, is the $500 going to make us 10% more? He's like, no, but, and I was like, but no buts. It's simple. Yes or no, right? Don't add context to it, because now you're going to go against what you're thinking, right? For the but. He's like, okay, you're right. I was like, it's not going to help us 10%. No, don't do it. Doesn't make sense. Get the $200 one, bro. Unless you really think the $500 one's going to help us make 10% more, then do that. It's just simple yes or no. So that's a yes, but I'm going to wait and test him for 6 weeks and see if he actually grows and learns. If he's willing to learn and he's adapting fast and he's just doing it, and quote unquote, one of my core values, my core values are interesting. One of them is literally figure it out. And people are like, what the fuck? They're like, why is your core value figured out? Like, what does that mean? It's like,
figure it out. Figure it out. Figure out the core value. Cool. Yeah. Last thing, bro. Last thing.
All right.
Because you've had a crazy story. I feel like we went over from nothing to a little bit of something to back to nothing to grinding, but you got nothing out of it, to holy shit, I got a lot of experience. Let me use it somewhere else, to social media, to growing brands, to where you are now and growing OnlyFans agencies, and literally the connections that you have are insane.
Guys, I'm not
just insane.
Agency. I'm a marketing agency, and I've helped OnlyFans agencies. I've consulted with them.
He's a marketing agency that helps agencies scale. That's the best way. He's a marketing agency. He's basically Gary V. I call him Gary Kapoor. Okay, last question. If you were to go back in time when you were 15, 16, 17, when you just got started in this business, in the business world, what would you do differently?
Nothing. I'm happy with all the experience I have. Like, I have no regrets. Like, if I had all the experience I did, I would just be richer a lot faster. That's all it is. But like, dude, there's nothing I'll change. I'm so grateful for everything I've been through. I'm like, fuck, bro, that like me, my family losing everything, put some real shit on everything. Like, dude, that really taught me some real shit, bro. Like, when you don't have anything, you realize how important everything is, right? And then you realize how important family. Dude, like, people always ask me, like, what are your regrets? I'm like, honestly, I don't have any. Like, I'm pretty happy with decisions I've made, even though I've made mistakes. But it's like I'm learning.
Yeah. I was just saying this in the other podcast that everybody has a little bit of regret, because no matter what, there's things that we could have done better, like you just said. But I think every decision that you've done so far and how fast you answered nothing tells me you would do everything the same. And it's funny, I would do the same thing too. And so would, the rest of my guests. And it's really cool to see, man, your story's insane. I actually, you guys, I had no clue about any of this, like literally nothing. I met Jay, he was already successful. He was already like on the rise. So it wasn't like I met you when you were like Troy, where you were literally nothing. And it's cool because even though he might come off like he's not humble, he's actually one of the most humblest people I've ever met in my entire life. You came off like
I'm nothing.
He's
nothing. Like,
yeah.
I'm still a nobody. And I'm not better than nobody. I'm not worse than nobody. I'm just a human like everybody else on this planet. And I have my own unique skills like everyone else does. So
I love it. That's literally how we're going to end it off, guys. Jay, thank you so much. Got a lot of value from this crazy story. Unbelievable, guys. Check this out.